How's it going, everybody? So today, as the title suggests, I'm going to show you how I'm setting up Facebook campaigns to generate leads and or make sales online through Facebook. So this sort of campaign structure that I'm going to walk through, I'm going to try and do it really fast and really simply. So obviously this is a video, you can go back through and reference whatever bit you need to as many times over. So I will say this, if you do have any technical questions that you think this needs to be molded, what I'm about to show you more so to your business, please reach out to me, search for Revel Lachlan on Facebook or Instagram. You probably follow me already, to be honest, and send me a message and I'll be happy to help out, or you can book a free chat at the end of the day. That's also pretty cool. So look, let's get straight into it. What we're looking at right here is my new ad account. My other one got banned and I still haven't successfully got it back yet, which is kind of upsetting saying that out loud, but it is what it is. Look, where I'm going to start right here. If you haven't got this screen, if you don't know what we're looking at right now, this is the ads manager. This is where all ads are created. If you're still boosting posts from your mobile because Facebook's saying to you, hey, look, this post has reached 95% more people than usual. Do you want to boost it? And you click boost. Don't do that, please. Look, the number one reason it doesn't really work that well is because it paces your budget differently without getting into too much detail there. Just don't do it. And that includes doing it from your PC or laptop as well. Just don't do it. It just doesn't work as well as it used to, unfortunately. 4 years ago, I'd be having a totally different conversation, but you know, we're 4 years ahead now. So this is the Ads Manager platform. If you guys don't know what this is, two things I want you to check. Number one, that you have a business manager. So what you need to do if you don't have a business manager is go and search for Business Manager Facebook. And then the first or the second, yeah, this one here is the link I want you to click. It goes create a business manager. And this obviously this assumes that you guys have a Facebook page and you have an ad account. We're going to click on create a business manager. Scroll down and that link here, it goes go to businessfacebook.com/overview. So you'll click on that, and if you don't have a business manager, it's going to prompt you to create one. Then you create one, and if you don't have an ad account, then you'll see there's an option there to create an ad account. But what you can also do, guys, look, this is very simple stuff, is if you don't know, ask Google how to create a Facebook ad account. Bang. And I would say the best one to use is the Facebook one, Add Ad Accounts in Business Manager. Obviously, you have to have a business manager first, so take the previous tip first, okay? So now you've got a business manager, you've got an ad account. Let's go back into my ad account. Where we start here is really with this create button. So when we click this green create button, we're gonna get presented with our objectives. So 9 times out of 10, if you're a local business or you know, even if you're nationwide and you're looking to generate more leads for a sales team or even yourself to close and generate more business and grow the business, 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to be using either lead generation or messages. And I'll go through both really quickly. And then if you're in e-commerce, you're probably going to be using more so traffic, but most of the time conversions, especially those of you who have a Shopify website or even WooCommerce. Conversions is pretty much where you're going to live because you want to be generating conversions for people adding products to their cart, for initiating the checkout sequence, and obviously for generating purchases. So let's start with messages. This is one that I use quite frequently. And just bear in mind that the objective that you select is what Facebook's going to try and look for more of. So it's going to look for people who are most likely to fill out lead generation forms. People are most likely to send messages to business pages, and obviously people are most likely to commit the conversions that you're trying to optimize for, i.e. purchases. Like that is a thing. You're able to find more people who are most likely to commit X. So walking through this messenger one, I don't know why this option is still actually here. As of yesterday, it should have actually become mandatory. So what this means, campaign budget optimization, for those of you who don't know anything about budgets and what you should be spending, quick one. Whatever you put here is the total amount of what's going to be spent on your Facebook campaign, regardless of how many audiences you're testing at once and regardless of how many ads you're running within that campaign. If you set the budget at $25 a day, that is all that is going to be spent, okay? So we hit continue on that, and then we move forward into the ad set level. So this is where you essentially select your audience, and that's pretty much it. So you can go through here and select your, if you're a locally based business, you'd throw in your address here. If you're trying to hit a slightly bigger portion of the suburb, then you type in, the suburb or the city. Just bear in mind, if you haven't used this before, you can see there's a little, what would you call it? A little slider up here that'll allow you to change the radius of your targeting circle, or targeting radius, I should say. So bear that in mind. So just select something that's obviously relevant to yourself. Be mindful. It's a big one that I found. Just eyeball the potential reach up in the top right hand corner where I've got my mouse. Just ensure that if this is your first time marketing, that this number is over 100,000. If it's not, then you've either got to raise this radius, increase the slider so you pick up more people, or if you're hitting certain age ranges, then open it right up and hit 18 to 65, and that's the biggest you can go. Or if you've got a product that isn't solely towards women or isn't solely towards men, obviously promote it to all, just to get that number bigger. And then similarly, if you're selecting interests, which I'll get into in a second, then deselect all of those interests and just target the area to try and get that number over 100,000. That's kind of like a generalized bit of feedback there. I've found that a lot of ad accounts that I've audited over the past few years, they're trying to reach people, like a target audience of like 20,000 people. Now that's not assuming and not taking into account that 20,000 people in that local area probably aren't all going to be on Facebook tomorrow. So what ends up happening is you end up spamming the crap out of the 500 to 1,000 people that are on Facebook, and they may not even be your target sort of audience. So that kind of sucks. So just make sure that's over 100,000. Again, if you want any more feedback on that, just send me a message. I'm going to leave this targeting right open. I'm just targeting Perth, a 49-kilometer radius, 18 to 65 years of age, both men and women. Let's jump down into the detailed targeting. So there's a couple of cool ones. For people in e-commerce, one that you might want to be thinking about using is one called Purchaser. There we go. Oh, I just had it a second ago. Engaged shoppers, right there. So an engaged shopper is someone who's clicked on the Shop Now button on anyone's ad in the past week. So that's someone that's actually, had intent to buy something online. As well as that, if you type in payments, this is more so for e-commerce, by the way. You can see this is Facebook payments users, 90 days. This is people have used Facebook payments in the past 90 days. So you can go through and select some of those, and obviously select interests that are relevant to your business. What I would encourage you to do is, again, bear in mind the size of the audience. See how we're over 170,000, which is great. Try not to bunch interests together that don't make sense together. Obviously, these two interests that I've selected are relevant because they are taking into account someone's online purchasing behavior, right? Or digital activities, same. I wouldn't put this in the same boxes if I was running ads for a yoga studio or a builder or a renovation or whatever. I wouldn't put this together with this, because number one, you're probably going to find that it blows your audience size up a bit there, but it's not quite relevant. I want you to be testing interests within one audience that all make sense together. I don't want you to dilute it, so you can actually figure out which interest has given you the best results, right? So that's e-commerce side of things. Anyone out there who's a builder or a renovation, or anyone who wants to get in front of homeowners, is a really good one. Here's something you should think about selecting for your interest. DIY, Bunnings Warehouse, which is only here in Australia, as well as pool, as well as lawn, as well as renovation, and that's pretty much it. So as you could probably assume, these are interests. These are things that people are most likely to be interested in if they are in fact a homeowner, okay? So if you could just take note here, when I select interests within this interest box, I'm trying to select interests that only my target avatar is going to be interested in. And speaking of target avatars, if there's anyone out there that is interested in targeting parents, you can target parents. And those are people who are posting pictures of their kids online on Facebook quite frequently. So that's how Facebook has that data, among other things. You can target people in a relationship. They say they're in a relationship. Their relationship status says in a relationship. So that's a good one as well. And I guess at any time, if you're lacking a bit of creativity with selecting interest, if you at least have one in there, like in a relationship, you can move down to this suggestions box, click that, and then it's going to give you some suggestions relevant to what you've selected as the first interest. Okay, so we're going to leave that there. Again, if you have any questions on what interest might work best for you, I've done this for quite a while, so let me know. And I guess one more tip here. Let's just say, right, you've tried your best. You've opened up your target radius. You've opened up the age. You've opened up the genders, and you haven't selected any detailed targeting, or maybe you have. Let's just say you've selected people interested in books. It's going to be a huge audience. But what about if you only wanted to target people who are there between the ages of 47 and 65? And we're left with an audience size of 180,000. If you wanted to keep that interest, because that makes total sense for you, and you don't want to move anything else, and you want to make that audience size bigger, which you should, there's this little tick box down here that says expand your detailed targeting to reach more people when it's likely to improve performance, i.e. give you better results or leads or messages or online sales. If you click that, just watch what happens to that potential reach. That skyrockets to 510,000. So what happens there is it tells Facebook, hey, look, if you think there's any other interests or targeting options that will help me reach the people I'm trying to reach, then you just automatically start advertising to them. We're not going to see it, but it gives Facebook the opportunity to have that leeway to find more people like the people we're trying to reach. So maybe click that on if your potential reach is a little bit lower and you're trying to select an interest. Okay, so I'll leave that on just for shits and giggles. Automatic placements is something I always leave on. Now, if you select manual placements, you're going to see all of the other placements that you can put your ads on. You've got Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, Audience Network, I think is actually going to be deprecated very soon. And then you see within Facebook, all of the different places you can put it within different Facebook stories, Instagram stories, Messenger stories, in-stream videos, probably the most annoying ones, Facebook search results within Facebook Messenger, and then Audience Network, which I'm pretty certain is going to be deprecated. I've got to double check on that one. But 9 times out of 10, all of your leads and your sales are going to come from Facebook newsfeed, Instagram feed, and possibly Instagram stories, depending on whether you optimize an ad for it. Okay, so just leave it on automatic placements. That just means Facebook's going to test all of those placements with your ads and try and find the best placement for it, which is probably going to be Facebook newsfeed. So we're going to continue. Now we're at the ad level. This is where we actually have to get creative and create the ad itself. Okay, so just bear in mind that you select the right Facebook page. Bear in mind that you select the right Instagram page. If you don't have an Instagram, if you don't have it connected, bugger, I should have left it. It will allow you to use the selected Facebook page, so it'll still drive all the traffic back to your Facebook page. So that's an easy workaround for it. Moving right along, this is where you select your images or your video. This is where you put the text in your ad, the headline, and your call to action button. If it's a messenger ad like this one is, then you'll select the first message and create the first message, I should say, that these people are going to get. So let's go ahead and do a little dummy one, shall we? So we're going to do an image on this one. We'll just use this one, I reckon. And then our primary text. So let me give you a quick lesson in copywriting, which is the art form that is writing text that is going to help people move towards your business and ideally become a paying and referring customer, right? There's a few different ways. If you're a local business or if you're talking to a specific local area, this is for local business owners. One of the things I like to do is call out the suburb. So if you're in Perth, or if you're in Sydney, or if you're in the Gold Coast, or if you're in Melbourne, or wherever the hell you are around the world, right? I would try as a local business to call out your local suburb. So I would say something like residents of Perth, or maybe even residents near Perth. So we don't box anyone else in that doesn't actually live in Perth. Then move into your problem. So I would say something along the lines of, are you experiencing X? ? I have a solution. Or maybe move into a bit of a story, which is, I I've also struggled with this, this, and this, and this, and what I found is this, 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 and this, and here is your solution, okay? And then we move into your call to action. So what this might sound like is, let me give you an example as to what I always use for my my consulting business is, I would say people near Perth or business owners in Perth or business owners in Queensland or business owners in Sydney or business owners around Victoria or around Melbourne or wherever I'm targeting that particular ad, I would say residents near Perth, are you struggling to get your Facebook ads up and running? If so, I can understand, this is my story, I can understand how frustrating it is. When I started, it was quite difficult to get my head around, it was quite technical, I was getting overwhelmed, blah, 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 blah. What I did do is figure out a couple of strategies that worked exceptionally well, tested them, they're proven, and then I move into my call to action, which is something along the lines of, if you'd like a free chat, which is my offer, call to action is your offer, I should say. If you'd like to have a chat, please click the send message button below, answer free questions, and we can book a free chat for 30 minutes. That's pretty much it. If you're in online e-commerce, then you want to test just some copy that is more so relevant to the audience or the avatar that you're trying to advertise to, right? So if you're trying to advertise to mums, and obviously talk to mums in this is probably the biggest hang up for a lot of business owners, because no one really knows how to write ad copy. Just a heads up here, ladies and gents, like if you have no idea how to write this stuff, please reach out, book a chat with myself. It'll go for half an hour. It's free. I'll give you some advice and we'll work out what sort of ad copy you should be writing. This is really important. This is not just, hey, we're having a goddamn sale, it's 50% off, shop here, and then you put your website there. It's not good enough. If it works, great. You're probably in like the top 0.1% of Facebook advertisers that actually, can still use that sort of crap. But for the other 99.9%, we have to actually use different forms of copy. So I hope that made sense. If it doesn't, again, reach out and actually ask for help. But it's essentially how that would go. For a local business, I would say call out the local suburb. That works really well for people who are scrolling. They're like, oh, this person's near Perth, or this person's near my local suburb. Like, what's he all about? What's she all about? Call out the problem. Are you experiencing X? There's many ways that you can word that. Maybe move into the story, but you don't have to. You can skip straight to the solution, but the story helps people connect with you because, again, I think a lot of business owners forget that although we're advertising on a digital platform like Facebook, we are, in fact, talking to humans. So, present a story so people can relate to you. And then your solution. So here's what I do. Here's how I solve this particular problem that you're experiencing. Be sure to click the send message button below, or be sure to go to my website, get some more information, book a chat, book in for this session, or get some more information from there. That's the CTA, the call to action. Now, one of the things I like to do with the headline, which sits down here, is just reinforce the call to action, which is click here, click here to book. And that comes up there. And then I like to get a little emoji. Here we go. And if you go to Emojipedia, 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 and you go and find yourself, well, you can go and find just about any emoji that's on your phone, and you can copy paste it into your Facebook ads. So really helpful. Go copy on that. Go back to ads, copy paste that finger, and now you can see it's pointing there. I know it seems really kind of dainty and maybe a little bit stupid, but you have to realize that if you can create ads that a 7-year-old can understand and can also understand what you want them to do next, which is click this button or perform X, then you're going to have more conversions and you're going to get more leads. So it's in your best interest. Similarly, if you want any other emojis to put in this text here, you can just search for them. There's a whole bunch of different categories here which you can look at. If I was to use this one of this emoji laughing, then that would obviously come up. So it comes up there. And then moving right along. So that's a bit of a brief on copywriting. That's obviously very important. Copy and text is something that you would test different variations of, as well as testing different images and testing different videos as well. Why would you test different texts and videos and images? Well, as much as you put your heart and soul into maybe shooting a video like I have in the past many times before, or even writing the best copy, it still doesn't mean that it's going to work, because again, you're dealing with humans when it comes to trying to get an understanding of initially, especially if this is your first time, what variation of image or video or text copy is going to work best. You don't know until you actually get started, so that's why you need to test this stuff. And I'll show you how to test a bit later on, yeah? Wow, we're just over 20 minutes, so I'm going to try and move this along a little bit. So, when you run a messenger ad, you need to, if you don't know how to connect a messenger bot, I'm not going to cover it in this video, but a very simple way to set this up and just ask an open-ended question is to scroll down and click Create Chat. And then we are going to go to Frequently Asked Questions, and we're going to go None, so we don't get all of that annoying chat. And I guess just if this is your first time, ask an open-ended question relevant to what your offer is. So if your offer is for a free consultation or a free phone chat, or with relevance to whatever you're offering, then say something along those sort of lines. I'm a big fan of putting emojis in here, so I'd say something like, hey Rebel, or hey first name, which it automatically populates. It populates their very first name, which is linked to their Facebook profile. I will go, hey first name, how can I help? Question mark. Would you like to book a free chat? Question mark. And that's going to take a little while. I don't know why. I don't know. I think it's the actual application itself. It takes a little while to actually populate it. There it goes. So that's going to be the first message that they see. Click Save and Finish when they click the Send Message button, which is quite handy. So that's where you'll adjust that one. The messenger bot service that I use, which kind of asks people a few questions about their industry and blah, blah, blah. It's unique to being a Facebook marketer. The one that I use is called ManyChat. Now, if you don't know how to use ManyChat, I do have a few other videos that shows you how to connect a messenger bot to ask people information. So if you're in lead generation, for example, and you want to ask, what their phone number is, what their email is, whereabouts they live, any of those not even pre-qualifying, just informational questions, informative questions, then you would connect a messenger bot, and you would drop that in here, and then it would trigger when they click the Send Message button. So if you want to know how to do that, let me know, and I'll shoot you another link for a video. And then finally, we're here, we go confirm. So that'll go through an approval process, just so that you understand what happens here. You just watch the little bar up here, and you can also at the top left of the tab, it says 60% the way publishing. So we just wait for that to do its thing before we do anything else. Now it's done. And you can see here it's in review. So it's not running yet, it's in review. Hopefully it gets approved if you're not doing anything against policy. If you want to know, which most of you probably won't because we're all lazy, let's be honest, go and check out Facebook's policy. If you just Google search Facebook policy, you can read through it so that you don't get disapproved. It's a good idea if you're just starting, by the way, because the algorithm is super aggressive at the moment. It's not actually a person that looks at it first. It's a bot, and it'll look at your ads, your images, your videos, your text. It'll also look to where you're sending people, if you're sending them to a website or landing page, and if it doesn't like it, it's going to disapprove it. If you get a few disapprovals, like I've seen ad accounts get disapproved 3 or 4 times, and then the ad account gets disabled, and now you're out of business, and you have to go through an appeal process, which is what I've been through a few different times, and it's not fun. So if you don't know Facebook policy, if you don't know what you should or should not be typing or using as ads, then definitely go look at it so you can save yourself some goddamn heartache. Worst thing I want for you is actually to do this for a year and then get banned. That'd suck. So that's a heads up. That's in review. If you don't want it to run yet, which most of the time when I'm building a campaign I don't, then what you can do is just hit this little blue toggle, and it's going to pause the actual ad, the campaign itself, but it'll still get approved. Hopefully, it'll still go through the review process, I should say. Now, a quick lesson. This is what I'm going to show you is how we're able to duplicate and test multiple ads at once, and then duplicate and test multiple audiences at once. We have to do the ads first. So the way that we do that is we click on the campaign name, which is this one here, and just eyeball when I do this what tab we go to, because when I click on the campaign name, it takes me to the ad set level, which is where we test audiences. And when I click on the ad set name, which usually is just the ages that you select as a default setting, when I click on the ad set name, it takes me to the ad level. This is where my ads are, okay? So I selected 2 different images there, so I've got 2 different ads already. But 9 times out of 10, you're probably only going to select 1 image and 1 video. I would say for most people, you need to test at least 4 ads. Why? Again, because you just need to give the algorithm, for one, on Facebook, and these humans, your audience on the other end of these mobile devices, an opportunity to see which ad actually performs best. So what you do is you'd hover over and you click duplicate, and then you would go, how many copies of each ad do we want? We want 4, so let's get another 2. If you've only got 1 ad, then obviously you'd say, I want another 3. And then what I get you to do is just eyeball this little arrow, right arrow, click that, and it's going to push that away. Untick the boxes. Now we have 4 ads. These are in draft, as you can see. The other 2 are in review because I've pushed them through from before. But if you go edit on one of these, and then we scroll down and we go edit image, change image. Let's use this one, go continue. We haven't changed the text whatsoever, but we're going to go publish. Click that little right arrow, just eyeball that this is thinking. It's going 50% published. Essentially what we've done is we've now put another one into review. Just disregard that. Facebook needs to catch up. That's in review. Actually, I'll refresh it so you can see it. That is now in review, even though it says campaign off. Now we've got 3 ads that are testing different images, right? So the test that we're running here to the audiences that we've selected is we've got 1, 2, 3 different images. Similarly, we'd go edit on this other one, and you're not restricted here at all. Well, I just want you to have an open mind and be creative, as well as giving you a bit of structure. But we go edit image on this one, change image, and then we will select, say this one, continue, publish, click the right arrow. That's going to go through its little thinking process. And now we have 4 ads. That was very quick. So again, we're testing different images here. Similarly, I think it's a great idea. You're not limited as to what you should be testing. You can test multiple variables here if you really want. And I think it's a good idea just to get your head around what works and what doesn't work. But we could go into these 2 images here, or maybe just as 1 image, and change up the text, change up the copy. You know, instead of saying, are you experiencing X? Maybe just put some different text in there, write a different story, offer a different solution, or just throw in a different offer in general. Something that's not talked about a lot, and I'm going to talk about it really quickly right now, is the importance of testing different offers, especially if you don't know your offer works, first and foremost, or if the offer that was working for your business 6 months ago just isn't working for whatever reason, if you've run a few Facebook campaigns in the past. And let me just give you some real talk here for a second. Just because an offer has performed really well in the past doesn't mean it needs to going forward. So keep an open mind about that. Think about different offers. Offers aren't always just you discounting the shit out of your services. They're not. An offer could be, as an example, what's a good offer? I worked with a beauty client recently, and we were offering, number one, just a picture of her in a carousel, in a slideshow, I should say, and it showed different looks that she could achieve with her makeup and lipstick and all of that kind of stuff. And the offer was, click the send message button below, and I'll show you how to achieve some of these looks. And then there would be a very organic and natural conversation to the products that she was selling to achieve these looks. But the offer was, I'll show you how to do this first, right? Then we tested a different offer, which was primarily on the lipstick, and that was a very similar kind of offer, that click a send message button, I'll show you how it actually works, and then I'll show you where to actually go and get this kind of stuff. And then we moved into a different offer, which was a package offer, which was sending people straight to the website, and it was something along the lines of, you also get this, 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 and this. So it was an added value packaged offer, which I want you to all think about how you could do that for the business and use it on Facebook. But it sent them to the website to have a look at that particular lipstick with a packaged offer, and they got an opportunity to buy it right there. Those are examples of different offers. You could probably come up with at least 4. You can test these here, and you would test these here within the text, the copy section itself, okay? So again, you are not limited to what you can test in here. You can test different images, you can test different videos, you can test different text, and you can test different offers, okay? I think offers is a really good place for a lot of people to start it, especially if you're just starting to advertise on Facebook. Again, because you have no idea whether people actually want what you're selling. It's not that Facebook doesn't work, it's just that people might not want what you're selling. Like, tough luck. If we move back, right, just eyeball what I did there. So we're at the ad level with our 4 ads. We move across to this tab, click ad sets. Now we're back at the ad set level. Okay, this is where we select our audience. If you wanted to test some different audiences, which I think it's a great idea, very similarly, you would just hover over, you click duplicate, you would go how many copies of each ad set you want. Let's say we want to test another 2 audiences, so we change that to 2 and then we click duplicate. From here, we're just going to push that away, click the little right arrow. Now we have 2 new ad sets, aka audiences. I would like to call them audiences because that's all we really test here. If we go through here, we click edit, you're going to see a screen that's quite similar to the one we were when we were creating our audience. We've got our audiences that we selected earlier, right? So we've got people interested in books, blah, blah, blah. Maybe we wanted to select, again, let's go payments. Maybe you wanted to select people who have used Facebook payments in the past 90 days. And then we have to get rid of the interest that we used in the last ad set. Otherwise, we're not actually testing anything different. We go publish on that. Facebook's going to do its little thinking thing. And now it'll say the name of the previous ad set and copy next to it. So if you, let's go save draft. If you just hover over and click the little pencil and then change that to whatever you're targeting, whatever interest you're targeting, FB payments, Facebook payments, now we're testing 2 different audiences. Now, the reason that we duplicated and set up a few different tests between the ads first is because when you click this, the one that we have duplicated, the 4 ads are automatically copied over. So it saves you a lot of time, put it that way. So when we go through and do the first ad set and we select and we create our 4 ads, just disregard these green ones. It's because I created another one and I haven't published it yet. But we've created our first one with 4 different ads. Then we've duplicated our ad sets. We've chosen an audience. We've told Facebook, hey, I want to target people interested in books. I also want to target people with the same 4 ads who have made Facebook payments in the past 90 days. And maybe this one, we select X out of the last one. We target parents, and we go publish. Click that little right arrow. And Facebook do its little thinking thing. And now we have a pretty lucrative campaign. Well, to be determined really. But again, change the name, click the little pencil, change it to parents, save the draft so you know at a glance what's working. Why didn't that work? Oh, I've got to change it up there and then go publish. So now we have 3 different audiences. We click on one of them and now we have 4 different ads. They should show up there, but Facebook's just being fun again. Man, why didn't that work? Let me just refresh this really quickly. If anything doesn't look right, there we go. Refresh the page. Facebook's just awesome sometimes. Anyway, so I hope that makes sense, right? You've got, if we just click on the campaign tab, we go back to the campaigns. This is the one we've been creating. If we click on the name of the campaign, then we can see our audiences that we're testing. We click on any one of these audiences, they've got the same 4 ads in them. That's a really good campaign structure, by the way. And just, hey, look, quick thanks. We've been doing this for 34 minutes. So thank you very much for watching thus far. Again, if you have any questions on this, by all means, send me a goddamn message and I'll be happy to help you out for, sticking with this for over half an hour, right? So that's a campaign structure. That's a campaign structure that I would recommend that you use just starting out, or if you've been doing this for a while and you need to try something new, try that. Because again, in terms of your budget, just quickly, if you eyeball on the screen, we're spending $25 a day across all of these ad sets, aka audiences, and all of these different ads, which is essentially 12 different ads, right? So your budget isn't going to get blown out. So what's the next thing we can learn? So we've created a messenger campaign. What you can also create, click the green create button, is a lead generation campaign. Conversion's very, very similar. I do have another, for all of you e-commerce owners or online businesses who are selling stuff online, I've got another video on how to set up a conversion campaign properly, because it is quite different and there's a bit more involved because you need to be able to set up custom conversions, all that kind of stuff. If you want that video, let me know and I'll send you the link absolutely free. It goes for about 15 minutes and you should be able to get that up and running, but I'm not going to go through that today. Lead generation I will, because I think that's the majority of people I've been dealing with, for the start of the year anyway. Lead generation is very similar to messages. All of this stuff is the same. So if you want to know how to set up lead generation, that's great. Go back and do it. All of this stuff is the same. Why haven't I selected my page? There it is. You select your audiences, you select your interests, leave it on automatic placements, go continue. From here, very similar, you would select the image that you want to use. You'd put the text in the ad that you want to use as well. You would put the headline. This is all very much the same. Your call to action button changes slightly. If you're, most of the time for these lead generation campaigns, it's for people who want to generate quotes for the most part. So use a button that makes sense for that. There's literally a button that says get quote. So maybe in the text above your ad, you would say something like, click the get quote button below. Whoops. You'd say click the get quote button below as an example, right? Now, the next part is how you want the lead form to look when someone clicks the get quote button. So the cool thing about this is it automatically populates the user's email, the full name and their phone number. So it saves them a bit of time, but if you've used these in the past, the slip up is it's so easy that people kind of, what I call it, pocket submit their information. So they might accidentally submit their information. You try and call them. They're like, hey, I didn't give you my information, you're spamming me. But in fact, they did. If it comes through a lead form, they did. They just probably weren't aware of it. So the way that we mitigate that risk is we put one more question in there that they have to type and submit, and that is required. And then it gets rid of a lot of that kind of crap. So what you do, you won't have any of these forms in here. You click new form, and this is where you start to create it. So you would go click on intro. You would say something here like, and that's here, headline comes up there. This is a preview of what it's going to look like. Get your quote here. You're not limited. There's no real right or wrong way to creating these lead forms. But at the end of the day, try and write some text that helps people resonate with you. It makes it very clear what's going to happen next as well. If you're going to call them, say, get your quote here. And then when you go through down to the layout, the paragraph, which is this bit here, and you say something along the lines of, submit your info and we'll call with further details, as an example, and that comes up there. Okay, so that's what that is, layout, paragraph. Can you do anything else? You can do bullet points as well. That's a lot of fun. And then we move into the questions. So when you click questions, you're going to see email, full name. If you want their mobile number, click add a new question, user contact fields, phone number, and then add a new question and click short answer down here. And then just ask them anything. Ask them like, obviously something relevant to your business, but how's the weather? As you can see, all of this is going to automatically populate, which is great, but they have to answer one more question and actually type that in before clicking next so that you don't get any pocket submissions. So how's the weather is that one. And then one more bit you need to know about is this headline text above the questions. So again, put here whatever you want. There's no real right or wrong way to do it. So I'm just going to say, fill in your info below, and away you go. Side note, you can't use emojis in here. That'd be nice, but you can't. And then you move down to your privacy policy. Use the privacy policy from your website. So for this example, I'm just going to use google.com and pop that there. Then your thank you screen. So after they've clicked and submitted their info, this is the next screen they see on the lead form. Okay, so when they click that, this is going to be the next screen they see. One of the things I like to do is I like to say, hey, if you'd like to ask me any questions right away, then go to my Facebook page and you'll be able to do that. Okay, so say, the headline's there and say, thanks, you're all set. Put something a bit more personal in there, guys. Like, obviously we don't want to sound like robots. So something along the lines of, thanks for that. hey, look, if you have any burning questions, click the button below and you'll be to message on Facebook. That's a bit too long-winded, but whatever, you get the gist. And then view website, button type, message us. As we've stated here, website link, go and get the URL of your Facebook page. I know mine off by heart, I've used it so many bloody times. It's outrageous. So that's what that would look like, right? So we go, thanks for that. Hey, look, if you have any burning questions, click the message us button below and you'll be able to message us on Facebook. They click the message us button, takes to the Facebook page, they click the messenger button, and now they're talking to you, but you've generated a lead, all right? So that's something I like to do. You don't have to do that. You can send them to the website. You can send them anywhere for more information if you want. So we'll go save, and then we'll go finish, and then confirm. Very similar to the messenger campaign I just showed you before. Go through, create at least 4 different ad variations, different images, maybe chuck a video or something in there as well. Use different text copy, maybe test different offers, and then go through and test, at least 2, maybe 3 different audiences at once. So that's your format. Whatever campaign objective you want, at least 2, ideally 3 audiences that you're testing, and within each one of those audiences, at least 4 ads. That's your campaign structure and format that you can use. Okay, so look, that's all I'm going to show you for today. I know that was a bit long-winded. What was that? That was bang on 40 minutes. So thank you so much for tuning in for this long, and I hope that's been of sensational value to you. Again, as I said many times, you don't need to struggle in the dark trying to figure this kind of stuff out. What I'd probably encourage you to do, number 1, go and join my Facebook group. It is I Want to Learn FB Ads with a little sad face on it. I've got to figure that one out. If you do want to book a call, I think it's a great idea for you to do so. They're free. They go for 30 minutes. You'll be able to ask me some advice and get some more information as to what sort of copy I think you should be using. I think a really good opportunity for you to book that chat is for me to give you some ideas as to different offers that you could use as well. I think that's probably the biggest one. Different creatives, the type of videos, what you should say in your videos, different images that you could use, different audiences that I think you might be able to test as well. This is why I do this stuff, because I really enjoy it. As you could probably tell, I've been doing this for like 40 minutes straight. So look, have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See you later.